Today, we're going to talk about the keto diet. Is the keto diet good for you?
Welcome to the Restorative Longevity Podcast, where we share how to increase your quality of life while also increasing your longevity. Now let's welcome our host, Jimmy Yen, also known as the Acu Sensei. Jimmy is a licensed acupuncturist, herbalist, nutritionist, and restorative longevity expert dedicated to guiding you on your journey to vibrant health and lasting wellness.
With all mainstream marketing, all of these, supplement companies, food companies promoting the keto diet, making money off the keto diet, is it truly good for you? People pointing out scientific research, how good it's for your body. Is it truly good for you? Are those scientific research accurate, or if they're not? Main question, what I like to do in this podcast is not get into so much of the debatable topics in the sense of scientific research. Yes, scientific research is debatable because depending on who does it, the people who disagree with that research are going to try to find loopholes in that. Let's say there's research A, but company A does research A. Company B wants to disprove company A. So they're going to go look at the research, company A's research, and say, oh, no, this is wrong. Oh, it wasn't a double-blind study. Oh, it wasn't done in the US. Oh, it wasn't this, because company B has their own research to prove that their point is correct and company A is not correct. So that happens in research, and that's why it's debatable. There's no right or wrong. The people who believe in company A are always going to think company A is right. The people who believe in company B are always going to think company B is right. Who's right? Who's wrong? This is not about right or wrong. It's what you believe, okay? Because both sides, they can prove that they are right. So how, as a consumer, as a general public, how do you know who's right or wrong? It's based on your beliefs. Okay, unfortunately, yes, that's not scientific, but unfortunately, scientific has been commercialized. It's all about money. And so you got to be careful about when you look at science and research. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about that. We're just going to talk about, hey, what are the data? What's the information? Okay, and you have to make the choice for yourself. But for me, right, personally, trying out the keto diet and also having patients who have tried out the keto diet, this is from my clinical experience, not from what I read in a book. It's not from I didn't go to PubMed to read the research on keto diet. I didn't search keto diet and read all the research papers on keto diet and then come up with a conclusion and then come up with an opinion. No, that's not how we do things at Achieve Integrative Health, the number one acupuncture and wellness clinic in North America. So what we do is patients. When patients come to us, right? Now we don't recommend, first of all, our clinic does not recommend the keto diet for anybody and I'll share about why. But patients have done the keto diet and they come to us. That's how we investigate. We ask them, what did they do? How did they feel? What happened? Obviously, the keto diet did not help them get the result that they want. I'm not saying the keto diet is good or bad. I'm just saying it did not help them get the results that they want. That's why they're in our clinic, okay? And so I would say many of our weight loss patients, I would say if not 100%, close to 100% of the patients that come to us for weight loss, they have tried the keto diet, right? And they're in our clinic, which means it didn't work for them, or it wasn't sustainable, or it actually caused more damage. Okay. So that is the point of today's podcast is the keto diet is not based on our clinical treating actual patients. Our clinical results, the keto diet does not produce a sustainable long-term weight loss. And it also it does not produce a long-term improvement in cognitive health, in cognitive improvement. It doesn't make your brain smarter long-term. But then some of y'all are already thinking, whoa. But that's how the keto diet was created, right? So let's go into the history. The history of the keto diet. It was created in the 1920s. And it was based on the principle, and it was created by, I think, by a physician. Don't quote me on that. It was created by a physician, I believe, that was treating patients with seizures, right? And so in the 1920s, they believe the principle that when you drastically restrict carbs, a carb intake, you go low carb, right? The body goes into a state of ketosis, which it produces a product called ketones, right? And so when you remove carbs from your body, the theory, and actually this is what happens, when you stop doing carbs, you go to a low carb diet, right? Low carb diet, then your body needs energy, especially your brain. Your brain needs constant energy because your brain never stops. Because if your brain stopped, you would be brain dead, okay? So your brain is the organ that needs constant energy. And I talked about this in another podcast. You can go to our channel. If you haven't subscribed, hit the little red bell button, subscribe, get notifications to our channel, and get your friends to sign up for this information. So you want to go into our previous podcast where I talked about the brain needs constant energy. And its number one favorite energy is glucose from carbs, not from fat. But when you take the carbs away, it forces your body to go look at the fat to get fat energy from fat. And after it processes the fat, it produces something called ketones. And that's what ketosis, okay? Those are the terms that you use. But this is a backup source of energy. The brain does not like this backup source of energy. Let me repeat that. The brain does not like the backup source of energy. It wants carbs, okay? And that's why I told you, for a healthier brain, you put in some nutritious complex carbs, you will get smarter, okay? Now, what are the benefits? What did they find in the 1920s were the benefits of the keto diet, ketogenic diet, okay? It was helpful for weight loss, but it was originally known for anti-convulsive properties. So that's for people who have seizures, epileptic seizure. It was used, physicians would put their patients on a keto diet to decrease, didn't cure, didn't fix, okay? So that's another thing. It would decrease the amount of seizures. It would help, okay? And supposedly they found a brain protective effect with the keto diet. And recent research has said that it might help with Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, okay? So when they say, let's get clear, okay? Because when patients come, actually when they ask, when I talk to people and they find out I'm a Chinese medicine practitioner, and it just doesn't matter where I go in the world, whether it's here in the US, all over the US, when I was in Asia, people will ask me, does Chinese medicine cure blah, 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 XYZ? And that's an interesting question because most people think that Western medicine cures disease XYZ, when in the fact is it doesn't cure. Unless, what's your definition of cure? My definition of cure is that you administer the treatment, and then once the treatment is done, it puts your body back to where it's healing itself again. So you no longer need that treatment. That is my definition of cure. Okay. But if you go to Google, the definition of cure is really just relief of symptoms, which is misleading, I believe. So you need to figure out what your definition of cure is. My definition is you administer a treatment, and that treatment helps your body restore your organ system function, your organ functions, so that your body can regain its self-healing abilities again, so that you no longer need that treatment. So if you are having to do that treatment every single day, in my definition, that treatment is not curing you. It's holding you hostage is what it is, okay? So if you find yourself having to pop a pill every day, you're not curing anything. You are held hostage by that pill, whatever that pill is. Okay, coming back to, the ketogenic diet was originally used for seizures. So physicians would put their seizure patients on this diet and it would help. No, it didn't cure it, okay? Because you'll find out later, it's very difficult to stay on a ketogenic diet for long term. And if you do stay on a ketogenic diet, then you will die of another disease. Okay, so yes, I guess that's another thing. If it truly cures you, you shouldn't die, later on from another disease caused by the treatment. Okay, so keto clinical trials. This is what people are going to tell you. They have found that supplementing with MCT, like this is very common, MCT oil. What does MCT stand for? Medium chain triglycerides. Do you really need to know what that MCT stands for? No, you don't. Okay. It is ketones. It's a type of fat that is among the supposedly best ketones. Okay. So when people took ketones, this MCT, very common is MCT oil. Okay. When they took MCT oil, that would help improve their Parkinson's symptoms by 43% after just 1 month. So 1 month, this is some type of clinical trial. Again, I'm saying this not to say that I believe in it. I'm just trying to give you both sides. I have my own opinion, but I like to give the opposite, like maybe something that I disagree with, because this research may be something you agree with. Okay. I'll let you know what I think, but I also want to give you all the information as much as possible, okay? So there has been research showing that taking MCT oil for 1 month can increase your Parkinson's symptoms by 43%. So again, it's about improving symptoms. Does it cure it? No. Do you have to take it for the rest of your life? Yes. Okay, so it's another crutch, another pill. Alzheimer's, or people who have mild cognitive impairment, they also showed improvement with a supplement called Axana. I'm going to butcher this name, caprolidine. Excuse me. It's a prescription medical food. It's a prescription medical food that the body metabolizes into ketone bodies. Just think about that. Prescription medical food, okay? I don't know. I just think that's pretty funny, okay? I don't even know why they call it food. It's not really food. It's just a supplement. It's man-made stuff, okay? But anyways, it's a prescription medical food. It's called Axana. It works by increasing the ketone levels in your blood, which may help to provide energy to the brain in patients with Alzheimer's, okay? Here's the side effects. Okay, this is what the people don't tell you. The side effects to this so-called prescription medical food, okay? Diarrhea, headache, heartburn, gas, nausea, upset stomach, severe allergic reactions, increase in BUN. BUN is a waste product that your blood, urea, nitrogen. It is excreted by the kidneys as a waste product. It's like you poop. This is like the kidney poop, BUN. Well, if you eat too much of this prescription medical food, you will increase in the poop from your urine, okay, from your kidneys. Uric acid and creatine will also increase. Uric acid, for those of y'all who have gout, you probably hear of uric acid. When you have high uric acid, they tend to deposit on your joints, giving you gout, which is super painful, okay? This is all side effects from eating this so-called medical food, okay? Ingredients, it's a lot of milk-derived products, okay? Now of course, they're going to say, okay, it is unknown whether eating natural foods in medium chain triglycerides like coconut oil could be just as effective. Why? Because coconut oil is not patentable, right? They cannot make a patent on it. If a pharmaceutical company or supplement company cannot patent, actually, it's mainly pharmaceutical companies. If pharmaceutical companies cannot patent an ingredient, they're not going to do research on it. They're not going to pay for research on it. So who's going to pay for research? Maybe the coconut industry. Oh, hey, coconut industry, maybe get your act together and you can, do a research to show how coconut oil can improve Alzheimer's symptoms. Okay, so that's really all the benefits of the keto diet. So the keto diet originally was for, let me just summarize, the ketogenic diet originally was for people who have seizures. It helped their symptoms. It didn't cure it, didn't fix it. It didn't take it away forever. They got to stick on the keto diet in order for it to help. Originally, in the 1920s, it was created for people who have seizures. And the side benefit was they found out, people lost weight. And then that's how somebody went to found research and, as a side benefit, it help people lose weight temporarily. Again, they don't give you all the data. So the keto diet can help you lose weight, right? Now, so that's what most people do it for. Very rare people I hear, we treat a lot of neurological, we specialize in neurology, okay, in our clinic at Achieve Integrative Health. It's very rare that I hear someone go on a keto diet for their neurological issues, okay? The common that we get patients who have been on the keto diet is for weight loss, okay? Is it effective to lose weight? Absolutely, it is effective. But my question to you now is, are you looking for short-term weight loss, or are you looking to keep that weight off? Two different things, right? That's why, we every few years, there's a fad diet. Keto is probably the newest diet, still in the fad. And those fad diets, they absolutely work, but it's not long-term. Every single fad diet is not long-term. Every single one, right? So what are the cautions? So I've talked about the benefits. Really, the only benefits is it helps improves Alzheimer's a little, Parkinson's a little, symptoms, but it's temporary, okay? Weight loss, it's also temporary. So why does my clinic not recommend the keto diet? Here are a list of reasons why, okay? It's longer than the benefits. So the summary, let me start with a summary of adverse effects of the keto diet. The ketone, like I said before, ketone bodies are not the preferred energy source for the brain. The brain does not like this. This is like a second grade energy. It doesn't like it, okay? The brain prefers carbs, okay? Now, I'm not talking about sugar. I'm not talking in the sense of white sugar, processed sugar. I'm not talking about those carbs. I'm talking about complex carbs, fruits, vegetables. Those are the carbs your brain loves, okay? The keto diet is basically the opposite of the scientifically proven Mediterranean diet. So in a previous podcast, I told you the perfect diet, right, is a version of the Mediterranean diet. The keto diet side effect: increased fat consumption can alter your body's metabolism. And I'll go a little detail about that. Even though your body will eventually burn off the saturated fat ingested as part of your diet, your cholesterol levels might increase. And this is how you do the keto diet, right? I had a physician as a patient who had a neurological condition, and he was learning from the keto diet, but he did not listen. It was interesting. He read a book from another physician talking about a keto diet, and that physician was saying, oh yeah, you can eat steak, you can eat, butter, you can eat bacon, all of these saturated fats, right? He learned the hard way, okay? But if you do it the wrong way, if you do it that way, you're gonna raise your cholesterol. And cholesterol typically does not cause heart attack, but if you eat a ketogenic diet and you're not controlling your saturated fats, these processed meats and all this stuff, oil, grease, fried chicken, you're going to prove the research correct, cholesterol causing heart attacks. But in reality, cholesterol doesn't, it's the inflammation, okay? But a ketogenic diet generates both. It raises your cholesterol and it increases inflammation. So it gives you a recipe for a heart attack, okay? And that is actually, so I'm going to go over 7 side effects, 7 cautions you need to watch out when you do the keto diet, and why Jimmy, the Acu Sensei, does not recommend the keto diet to anybody, okay? The risk outweigh the benefit, okay? 7 adverse reactions of the keto diet. Number 1, increased risk of heart disease. I kind of already went over that. So when you intake high amounts of saturated fats from butter, cheese, bacon, red meats, processed meats, fried chicken, KFC, Church's Chicken, all these fried stuff, okay? In the Philippines, they eat a lot of fried stuff, okay? That's why the Philippines, I would assume, I haven't done this research, I would assume the Philippines have a lot of heart disease because they eat a lot of fried stuff. So when you eat all these saturated fats, you raise your LDL, your bad cholesterol, okay? So-called bad cholesterol. You raise your LDL, right? And you're increasing your risk of heart attack and stroke. Number 2, the keto diet causes kidney disease, kidney strain, and kidney stones. The high protein, because when you eat a keto diet, you're eating a lot of protein. Okay, and this goes on with the Atkins diet, the carnivore diet, right? When you eat too much protein, you are killing your kidneys. Now, unless you're okay with having to go on dialysis in the future, then keep on eating protein, gobs amount of protein. But if you don't want to go on to dialysis, you need to decrease your animal protein. I'm talking about animal protein. I'm not talking about plant protein, okay? When you overload your body of animal protein, so keto diet, carnivore diet, caveman diet, Atkins diet, you're killing your kidneys. The keto diet also lacks fiber, and it causes dehydration, okay, from the ketosis that may lead to kidney stones. So if you have a family history, or maybe you tend to get kidney stones, you shouldn't be doing the keto diet, because you're going to make your body, you're going to create a environment in your body to create more kidney stones. And ketones, remember, so the body breaks down fat into what's called ketones. Ketones are acidic. The more acidic your body is, it's going to cause osteoporosis. What? Never heard of that, right? Let me explain that to you. When your body is too acidic because you're on the keto diet, your body needs to balance that acidity. How does it balance that acidity? By using minerals like calcium. Well, where is it going to get the calcium? What do you take calcium for? You take calcium to build your bones. So your bones have a lot of calcium, right? So if your body is too acidic, where is it going to get calcium from? It's going to get it from your bones. It's going to break down your bones to release calcium into the blood so that it can neutralize the acidity that you generated from doing a keto diet. So eventually, over time, you will develop osteoporosis, brittle bones. Okay? These are the long-term effects of a keto diet. All right. Number 3, nutrient deficiencies. When you do a keto diet, you're depriving yourself of nutrients like vitamin C, magnesium, potassium, fiber, most importantly, antioxidants. What does antioxidants do? They help you fight cancer. They gobble up, they're the Pac-Man that eat up the free radicals, which are, when free radicals clump together, they form tumors and form cancer. When you eat the keto diet, you take away your Pac-Mans. Also, what does antioxidants do? Antioxidants are the so-called anti-aging miracle molecule, right? So if you do the keto diet, physically, you're going to look like you age faster. Like you may be 40, you're going to look like you're 60 years old, okay? These are all due to nutrient deficiencies. And then you will have these symptoms. When you're on the keto diet and you start feeling fatigue, muscle cramps, weakened immune system, you get a cold, you get allergies, and also your skin starts to get dry. Maybe it gets itchy, flaky. Maybe your skin gets red. It's all because of your keto diet. Okay. Number 4, the side effect of keto diet, mental fog and mood swings. What? But when I was on the keto diet, I was mentally clear. Yes. That was what it was originally made. Originally, keto diet was created for mental acuity, but only short term, right? Why? Again, let me repeat. The brain prefers carbs as a primary, glucose as a primary fuel. In the absence of carbs, you will feel irritable. You will be depressed. So when I don't know if you've noticed, if you have friends that are on the keto diet, do they get irritable? Like when you question, here's what I've seen. When you question when I questioned a patient about why they went on keto diet, they got defensive really quick. That's irritability. They don't like people, saying, oh, they shouldn't have gone on the keto diet. So if one of your friends is on the keto diet, don't talk about the keto diet with them, because they're gonna chew off your head. Okay. Here's another thing. People who are on the keto diet for long term, this is the beginning. You get something called the keto flu. Yes, there's a term called the keto flu. Okay. It's headaches, fatigue, brain fog, right? So long term, it decreases cognitive performance, especially in older people. So for this, I see, because our clinic treats a lot of elderly people. I would say the average of our patients is probably around 55 to 65, but we treat people up to 90s, right? I think our oldest patient was 94. She's still alive, still alert. Okay. We started seeing a trend, like people in their 60s. Yeah, it's not really old, but people in their 60s started to do the keto diet because it's harder to lose weight as you get older, which is true. But then, so they thought, oh, maybe I should do the keto diet. No, you should not, unless you want to lose your brain. Okay. You lose your ability to think. Number 5, gut microbiome imbalance. So long-term keto diet will destroy your digestive system, okay? Because it's low fiber, it's high fat, which alters the diversity and population of your gut bacteria. And in another podcast, I mentioned your gut bacteria determines your immune system. So when you disrupt that, that's why you will get sick. That's why people on keto diet eventually will get sick more easily, okay? This leads to constipation, digestive issues, increased inflammation. You increase all of those, I would say, harmful fats. Those fats are getting deposited in your intestines. They're making the intestines swell with inflammation, giving you all of other problems, right? I would not be surprised if someone who is doing a keto diet long term starts to develop food allergies, right? Food allergies, and eventually gluten intolerance. You get celiac disease, okay? You get IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, all those stuff. So a poor gut microbiome, it not only damages your immune system, it also damages your hormones. Remember, if you haven't watched in another podcast, I talked about serotonin. 90% of your serotonin is produced in your intestines. When you do the keto diet, it destroys that. That's why can you see why you get depressed when you're on the keto diet long term? Okay. Number 6, increased inflammation over time. I kind of addressed this already in the top 5, but the keto diet initially it lowers inflammation. That is true, but long term, because of the high saturated fat intake and processed meats and lack of antioxidants, it causes inflammation. So it drops it, and then the inflammation comes back, okay, for long term. This is why keto diet long term is going to kill you, okay? It's not good for you. Last one, number 7, unsustainable and rebound weight gain. So everybody, what? It's like, but I started the keto diet to lose weight. Why would Jimmy say that it will cause me to gain weight? We've seen this in our patients, right? Of course, you're going to hear when you talk to people, especially in their 20s and 30s, right? Don't talk to them because their metabolism is different from you, especially if you're above 40, above 50, 60, 70s, right? You shouldn't be talking to 20 and 30-year-olds about what to do because their metabolism is different. They can take a lot of crap. Just think about when you were in your 20s and 30s, you ate all that. I remember when I was in college, in my early 20s, late teens, early 20s, I was eating junk and I could not gain weight at all. Now I'm close to 50 and I'm like, man, I have to watch what I eat. I gotta be careful. If I just eat, I can cheat 1 or 2 days, but if I cheat 7 days a week, I'm gonna balloon up, right? So you got to look at who you're talking to. So people, elderly, and people who maybe say, there's some people that work out in their 40s and 50s and they still are cut and they're doing the keto diet. Well, yes, but what they're not telling you is what else are they doing? They're doing other stuff at home to counterbalance, like the nutrient deficiencies. So they're popping all these vitamins and, getting IV nutrition to counterbalance it, right? Why? Because they're destroying their body. That's why they got to do all those extra stuff. So number 7, unsustainable and rebound weight gain. So keto is hard. Number 1, it's hard to maintain. But once you introduce carbs back in, because you're supposed to get off of carbs on the keto diet, but once you introduce it back in, this is what typically happens. You're going to see a drastic increase in water retention, bloating, and rapid weight gain. So that's what happens when you do the keto diet for long term, okay? But it's your choice. Personally, I don't like it, but I'm not here to decide for you. It is good for 2 things. It's to help reduce your symptoms of seizures, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's. It helps it reduce it temporarily, helps you lose weight temporarily. But there's so many downsides to the keto diet. And that's why we never recommend the keto diet at Achieve Integrative Health. Thank you guys for joining me. I know this is here in the US, it's a Memorial Day weekend. You're probably out on the lake. Thank you guys that showed up and joined me. I will be back same time next Sunday, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time with another great topic. Have a great rest of your weekend. And for those of the US, have a great week, long weekend. And I will see you next week. Peace.
This episode is sponsored by Achieve Integrative Health, the #1 acupuncture clinic in the US. We're grateful for their support in helping us bring you the Restorative Longevity Podcast.